Hello all, hope you're all well. This is a VR finally. I've watched every other bugger do a VR to this, and I've finally got round to getting the time. Been a busy old week, or week and a half, with the boy. So finally got the time. I'm back to being Billy No Mates. So I thought I'd get up in the loft and have a cheeky go for it, some videos and have a play and get some sorting out done up here in the loft, because there's a few things I want to do. I need to thin down that PS2 collection and get in amongst that. So anyway, this is a set of questions set out from Tony Fighter Alpha Mega Hyper Fighter 2 a while back. He raised a load of questions with regards to gaming and whatnot, and pretty much everyone has done it, and I've watched most of them. I've watched 2 videos this morning and really enjoyed them. Finally got to finish off Ed's video that he did as a response, and it was RetroRedSteve. Stevie Babes tagged me to get involved. I still need to get round to playing a bit of Mil Miglia on the PS1 and do that. Is PS1 challenge, so get in amongst that, people, if you can. So anyway, finally, enough of the waffling, because this is going to be a long video. We got the mango Vimto on the go, because I thought the monster just ain't going to cut it today. I need the Vimto in me. So I'm getting all technical. I've got on my Master System shelf there, I've moved some games over, got my iPad sat there with all 10 questions. I'll be honest, I've been watching all of the VRs, but I've tried not to think about it, because I kind of don't really want to think about it until I'm actually answering the questions, because then it'll be more what springs to mind, what's there, rather than putting too much thought into it. And then I'm kind of going to be led by what I've heard and seen other people put. So this is straight out of my box, using their grey matter, what little there is left of it, and we'll go from there. Anyway, in at number 1, question number 1: what type of games do you like to play? What type of games don't I like to play? Everything from Forza to GTA to fighting games. I mean, the latest set of games that I'm playing with the boy is 2-player racing games and fighting games. We've been playing the arcade 1-up, Mortal Kombat's, then we've had challenges on Pac-Man on the other cabinet, then we've been playing kart racers, Mario Kart, blah 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 on the Switcheroony. So yeah, and then if I'm playing games over probably the last sort of 5 years, games that I've gone back to or that have really stood out to me have been things like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'll always go back to that. Pretty much every year I'll have a go through all the Sonics, try and complete them, quite often fail. I'll go back to Super Mario World on the N64, various emulated versions. Now I've got the Switch version, loving that already. I think I'm up to 12 stars, 13 stars now. Whee! So, and Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsports, I'm more Xbox than anything else, modern sort of gaming. If I'm going to play older stuff, it tends to be the Streets of Rages, the Sonics, that sort of stuff. So, what don't I like to play? I like to play most things. If I had to pick sort of one genre of games that I really sort of over the last sort of, I've been gaming since 91, it's got to be platformers. I would say would be my main sort of focus over those years, is platform games, and that's whether it's side-scrolling platform or what would be Super Mario 64 open world sort of platform game. Yeah, platformers. So that's my main sort of thing, and a close second would be Forzas, and then you go Halos and shoot 'em ups, and oh, it's endless. But yeah, in at number 1 would be platformers. How much time on average do you spend playing video games is question number 2. Ooh. Per week it changes drastically. I must admit now, I'm spending more time playing games because we're playing 2-player, me and H, which I'm having great fun doing. It's, you know, it's something we're bonding and spending time with each other, and he's bloody good at them as well. Let his old dad win now and again, crikey. But I would guess somewhere in the region of, on average, and I'll be honest with you, I'm quite lazy in terms of, I can't be asked to pick up a controller some nights. I just want to put the telly on, watch a bit of YouTube or a bit of Netflix and just sit back. Bear in mind now, I'm eating a lot more, I'm drinking a lot more. So if I've got a controller in my hand, that means I can't have me knife and fork and eating me gammon steaks and me scrambled eggs and all that. So I would guess it's gonna, in a week, and this is such a shame, it really is. In a week, I would say somewhere in the region of, probably don't work out to about an hour a day per week, so 7 hours a week. I might spend a couple of hours at some point over the weekend. Me and H will play games a fair bit, so I would say probably 7 to 10 hours overall in a week is what I play games, which is such a shame. I've got all this here and I play next to no time at all. I'm more collector than player now, but that's gradually changing. I'm getting in amongst it. I play more on 24. Number 3, do you think video games can be educational? Well, from what I hear, there's a few games on the old Switch that they're a bit educational. Could they be educational? I guess games are educational. It's helping you fine-tune your motor skills, playing, controlling. There are brain training games. There are games that can help you cook, help you win wars, run theme parks, hospitals. I guess, yeah, there are games that can be educational. There are games like Mortal Kombat that can help you kick ass. so yeah, there can be games that are educational. Yeah, I would think so. I guess, yeah. Yeah, I guess games can be educational. So, number 4, what don't you like about video games? Oh, geez, this is going to be a long one. I'm trying to keep this moving as well. I don't want to be sitting here for 2 hours, boring you to tears. So, number 4 is, what don't you like about video games? Well, in at number 1, firstly, what the hell is that all about? Just got a new Switch, OLED, bought some games. What I thought were games. Games with cartridge. Oh, no. One thing about the Switch is they like to sell you a nice little bit of paper in a nice plastic shiny box. What is the point of that? So that's what I don't like about games at the moment, is that they're doing that. If you're going to sell a download code, just sell a bit of paper. Just sell a code online. Don't sell me a nice plastic box with a bit of paper in. Pointless. In terms of actually playing video games, I don't like games that are too bloody hard. So, but then in the same vein, I don't like games like, kind of like Call of Duty, that hold your hand, multiple spawn points. They're just, years ago, you had to perfect your skills to get through to the end of a level, and then that sense of achievement, even as far back as like playing Super Mario Brothers on the NES. When you got to the end of that level, back in the day, you leapt up, you gave a big cheer. In a lot of cases, you leapt up and you still had the controller in your hand, which yanked the console off the shelf. And I've done that a few times back in the day. But you got that sense of achievement in that you got to the end of the level, and because you've died so many times and had to restart. Whereas now there's a lot of hand holding. And where I don't like games that are too hard, like Elden Ring. Oh, jeez. I loved that game in terms of the world, what I didn't get to explore of it. But every little battle was just crucifying me. And I just found it to be so frustrating that as much as I really wanted to get in amongst it, I just knew I'm not cut out for it. And that's such a shame because I really wanted to experience the world on there. So yeah, and yeah, so there's loads of answers to it. I don't like the prices of video games nowadays. I've probably got to go with the idea of there's nothing really that fresh. How many times can you save the princess from a castle and a bad dude who's kidnapped her? And we need a refresh with gaming. We've had, over the last 20, 30 years, we've had better graphics, we've had a bit better playability, worlds have got bigger in gaming, but it's kind of rehashing. I'll use Nintendo as a real case in point, in that kind of Nintendo have just been so guilty of just regurgitating the same old gear, bit of extra spit and polish on it, and bring it out for another 50 quid each generation. We got so many games on the Switch that are just older games with a bit of extra spit and polish, and it's basically the same game. And I think we're all crying out for modern gaming is a bit meh. And we're all crying out for that fully immersive new thing. The downside is that fully immersive new thing, is it going to ever arrive? I guess we're hoping that the next GTA, what's GTA 6, isn't it? Is going to do all of that. It's going to be the next greatest, latest thing that you can go anywhere, do anything. And I mean, it's certainly looking that way. And after 10 plus years in production, it bloody should be. But we're at a point now where we've kind of seen it all, done it all. There's nothing new. We need some fresh. I mean, that's the last 5 years or so has been quite great with the indie scene. Games coming out that are kind of like new, old style games. So new graphics, new capabilities, but an old style game. I mean, that's kind of quite sad in that there's been nothing new, completely new for us to like wow over, you know. Like when Gran Turismo first came out on the PS1, it was like mind-blowing that you could have so many cars, you could modify them, and it really did make a difference during your race to the handling and whatnot. It just changed everything. And in my mind, modern gaming, there's not been something that's just blown my mind and just changed gaming completely. So that's kind of what I don't like, is we're at a point where we need our minds blown. We need Grand Theft Auto 6 to be just everything it's hyped up to be. So yeah, anyway, right, moving swiftly on. How much do you spend on video games? Number 5. Too much? Too much. I've been guilty of spending way too much for far too long on video games. I must admit, now I've got a lot of expenses, put it that way. I don't spend as much as what I used to. I have been guilty of paying out some big money, even recently, for games, big hitters off the list, and every bloody game on my list now is a big hitter almost. I look at the Mega Drive collection and there's not games on there now, if I want to get them complete, less than 50 quid. All the way up to the most expensive games on the Mega Drive left to get. So in terms of regular monthly outlay, I probably squeeze together, I would say it's over 100 quid. Yeah, I would say it's over 100 quid. But I look at it that I don't smoke, I don't drink, I'm not out partying. My way of spending a wacky Friday night is going to the gym and bench pressing 200 kilo. That's what I do for fun. So yeah, nowhere near as much as I used to spend on games, and I've thinned out an awful lot. And there's a big hitter coming up that I've got to get it. I'm gonna get it, but I'm gonna filter out some of the bits in my collection to sort of. There's a lot in my collection that I'm not that overly. You know, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I sold them off, and it's not that I've bought them originally to sell on in the future. I've bought everything with a view that it's staying in the collection, love it, whatnot. But things change over the years. You kind of gravitate more to certain systems, like Mega Drive. Absolutely love it. But I can remember way back, I've got a pal who lives Braintree. I call him Braintree James. I've got a thing about calling people by the area they live in. Colchester John. I've got Braintree James as a pal, and he's a big time. Over the years, he's collected full sets, Master System, a couple of times. He's been big on his Mega Drive. And I remember way back, I bought games from good old Roy's for £4 each, Sega Mega Drive games. And I remember the games. Now, a lot of them I didn't have, but James had Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, box complete on the SNES, and he had Secret of Mana, box complete on the SNES. And for some reason, I was, I'm going to collect SNES. And I had a fair Mega Drive collection, but I thought, what I'll do is and I bought about 20 games from Roy's. They were £4 each, and I must have been 15 of those, 10 of those in my collection. They were all average to decent titles, but there were some naughty ones in there as well. The U's, Rock and Roll Racing, just loads of games. And I weighed them in with Braintree James to get Zelda on the SNES and Secret of Mana. Now, just The U's is a game on the Sega Mega Drive I need to get, and that's going to cost me, Christ knows, at least 100 quid now. And silly arse here, got it for £4, weighed it in towards, and a load of other games towards a couple of SNES titles. Those SNES titles have been long gone now. They were the PAL versions, really nice condition, all complete, maps, all the rest of it, instructions, lovely. But they're long gone because over the years I've I call it fine-tuning the collection, but it saves me money if I can weigh a few bits in that I'm not that bothered about, and then the stuff that I'm still left with, it kind of means even more. So I mean, I've gone down from a collection of about 4,500 different games down to, I've got down to 2,000 games, and now I've built it up and I'm on just over 3,000 games. But those 3,000 games, the Mega Drive collection, N64, Master System, they're what really grabbed me by the goalies, and like the Xbox games and the PS1 games, the NES games, they are set in stone that they're not going anywhere. So I do, kind of where I'm going with this is, I spend X amount of pounds per month, but nowhere near what I used to, because I do trade stuff in, sell a bit here, swapsies, blah blah blah. So I try and keep the funds relaxed as much as possible. But when you go for the games that I need now, it's tough times, I tell you. I have to keep off that bloody watch list of mine on eBay because it's a killer, and they keep fucking sending me little cheeky offers here and there, and it's just so hard to to be strong. So yeah, number 6, what's your favourite games console? Oh, well, that's a difficult one, because there's games consoles that I love to play kind of more. Then there's a games console that's the most nostalgic, because it's the first console I ever had, which is the NES, pound NES, and that's the first games console I ever played, I ever had, and I've got a hell of a collection for it, and it's so super nostalgic to see those cartridges. Just lights a smile on my face as soon as I see them, and I love it. But in terms of my iPad's gone into standby mode. In terms of console, just generally my favourite games console, and I look at this from a more of a collector point of view, it's got to be Mega Drive. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. From that moment I got my Sonic the Hedgehog Mega Drive, that Christmas or birthday, whatever it was, just blown away. Such a cool games console, so many brilliant games, and I am, when I finally get that full bloody set, I'm gonna put every single game on, the good, the bad, the ugly, and play them through from A to Z and get the most out of the console. I've played most games, even if it's just a quick play, 5 minutes, and if I hate it, I've played it for 5 minutes, made sure it's worked before it's gone in the collection. But in terms of just the whole, to collect for that system, to look at the artwork, even down to the actual feel of the cartridge, when you pop the cartridge in a Mark 1 Mega Drive, it just feels so good. The controller, the 6-button controller is probably, in my mind, the best, apart from the Series X with the rubber bits on the back. My Forza Horizon controller, that is my favourite ever controller. But apart from that, I would say the 6-button Mega Drive controller is probably the best controller. I've got chubby little short fingers, so the 6-button Mega Drive controller is just beautiful. It just feels so good. And all of those nostalgic times playing Street Fighter 2 on the Mega Drive, when everyone had it on the SNES, I was flying the flag that Mega Drive's better. Playing Streets of Rage is just so cool. So many times, even down to in the last year or so, playing through the Sonic games and finally completing them again, and sticking to them. Like Sonic 2, Sonic 3 was a real git. Really tough to get through, but I got through it in the end. So yeah, it's got to be the Mega Drive for me. That's my favourite games console. If everything else had to go, and I don't say this lightly, if everything went, and I'm nearer the full set on the NES and the Master System, but if everything had to go, the Mega Drive would be the one that I would really, really struggle with. That would be the last one to go, my set of Mega Drive games. With the Master System, yes, I'm only a few games off the full set, but and again, it was the Mega Drive collection that made me start picking up Master System games, because a shelf full of Mega Drive games next to a shelf of Master System games just looked pretty cool. The only bit of nostalgia I had for a Master System, the only ever game I played on a Master System back in the day, was Mortal Kombat. So having a nearly full set of Master System games, I only started collecting it all because it kind of looked pretty cool. It's alright. I must admit, since then, the Sega Master System Challenge, set up by 8-Bit Boy Ollie, made me fall in love with the system. It's a brilliant system, 8-bit wonder. It's just absolutely brilliant. But I started collecting that because it kind of looked cool next to the real bad boy, the Mega Drive collection. And in my mind, every single game on the Mega Drive far outweighs the Master System version. And yes, I mean Sonic, and I mean Castle of Illusion. For me, it's better on the Mega Drive. So there. Moving swiftly on, what is your favourite video game? Now, this is a tough one, because that really is a tough one, I'll be honest. Because with each of the systems I collect for, I've got a top 5 in my mind of that I can instantly think of that, wow. I guess if I had to be, I kind of need to think of this as left on a desert island with one game only. What would it be to play for the future, and also to give you great feelings of nostalgia, memories you've got with the game, the attachments you've got with it? I would say it's got to be Crackdown on the Xbox 360. Now, yeah, I know, crazy. It could have been anything. Super Mario Brothers on the NES, Sonic on the Mega Drive, 1,000 games on the PS1. It could have been Super Mario 64. Now that definitely would be up there. Super Mario World on the SNES. So many, but hear me out on this. For one thing, nostalgia with that. The Xbox 360 was a period of time where I did play a lot of games, and I absolutely loved me 360. And it was a console that sort of, it was a generation up. It did take things up a level from the generation before, and I loved my Xbox games collection. But when the 360 came out, it was a big step up. And games started to feel more 3D. I remember playing Project Gotham Racing 3, and all of a sudden it went from quite a flat sort of playing a game, almost as if the screen, the track's moving and your car's just moving left and right, to all of a sudden you were in the game. And so the 360 was a real turning point for me, and I played an awful lot of games. At the time, my partner lived in London, and I'd sit there playing Crackdown or the Xbox 360, some game or other. We'd be on the phone for hours and just playing the game, the controller, trying to find all those bloody orbs, and I never did get them. And I've got the game guide somewhere up here that kind of gives you the descriptions of where every single orb is, and I still haven't done it. But it's an open world, go anywhere, do anything type GTA clone, but it's cel shaded, which really will stand the test of time. It will always forever stay a decent looking game. There's the collecting aspect to it, the platforming, the blowing stuff up, the car driving, absolutely everything. You can build up your geezer to be able to jump super high, pick cars up and chuck them. So there's everything about that game that I would want from a game. So yeah, I've kind of got to go with Crackdown on the Xbox 360 as my favourite video game. As I say, Super Mario Brothers is close, Super Mario 64 is close, Sonic is super close as being the best, but yeah, and the boy now, Harry, absolutely loves the Crackdown game. and it's great to sit back and watch him play it. So that's another aspect that, again, it's prolonged the life of it. That just, it's a timeless classic. Honestly, if you haven't played Crackdown on the Xbox 360, and there was a time where it was a free download, so I've got it on the Xbox Series X, and it plays brilliantly. Just, it's so cool. So honestly, give it a go if you can. So that's it. We'll move on. Number 8. What's your favourite video game movie? Now, I'll be quite honest with you, I would have just said Sonic and Sonic 2. Absolutely love them. The way Jim Carrey plays Robotnik, Dr. Eggman, is brilliant. The humour to it, the little Easter eggs that are in amongst it, everything about it is just brilliant. Just family fun entertainment, real cool. And I could go back and watch them again at any point. Really do love them. I'm looking forward to Sonic 3. Can't wait to take the boy to see that. So that would have been my quick answer. However, only the other week, took the boy to cinema, and we went, because we've both heard about it being a video game film. Basically, we wanted to go to cinema anyway. So we went to the cinema and booked the old 4D Max experience at Cineworld in Ipswich. You know, where you get beaten up, spat on, and you're sitting in your chair getting battered. So we booked the 4D Max experience and watched Borderlands. Now, I really wasn't expecting anything from that film. I played the game, the first game, and I played a little bit of the third game. And it's just been one of those games that have been in the collection. They're great games, but I haven't really invested the time into them. But we sat down, well, finally when we sat down after I spilled popcorn all over the gaff, made a right mess. It went everywhere. Sat down, zoned out to this film, and the pair of us were absolutely hooked. Apart from the times where, because he didn't want the sort of the water spray, he didn't want the spray, so there's a button you can press to turn that off. And of course, all the way through the film, every now and again, I'm just pressing the button cheekily so he gets a splash of water. Got to be done. But I tell you what, that in terms of the whole experience, I would say the best video game film experience, not just film, but the experience I've had, was going with the boy to watch Borderlands the other week. Yes, come out of there feeling knackered. I felt like I'd been beaten up, dunked in a pool, but it was brilliant. Mindless fun, didn't really have to think about it. The story, I mean, it's been proper ravaged on all of the sites and amongst YouTube and gamers and film critics, but we thought it was great fun. We were sat right by the front, so the screen was there. We were in amongst it, getting beaten up, thrown around, holding on for dear life. But you could feel every bullet. I mean, it was a proper experience, and we really loved it. And it was just spending great time with the boy. And yeah, for me, it has to be Borderlands, which is a real shock. I bet no one else doing these VRs has even hinted at Borderlands being their number one. But as I say, close second would be Sonic and Sonic 2. But Borderlands for the whole experience. Brilliant. It was a good film. Mindless fun, lots of shooting, some comedy aspects to it. Fitty Doris in there as well. So yeah, it was good. So anyway, right, next one. Number 9. Who's your favourite video game character? Oh, this is a difficult one. Does he go Mario? That's the first video game character on the NES that I played as, was Super Mario Bros. But then again, I'll have Tess Logically Blonde, giving me daggers down the TV if I don't pick Sonic. And I am probably going to go with Sonic. The memories of playing Sonic, I'll be honest, the memories of having a hooky day off school. Oh, Mum, I don't feel well, can't go into school, I don't feel well. All right then, have the day off. If you're sure, if you're not feeling well, rest up, take it easy, yeah. And then halfway through the morning, starting to feel a little bit better. Want to play some video games, Mum? And then playing with my mum at Sonic the Hedgehog, watching her chuck the controller around as she's Sonic the Hedgehog. Great memories of playing Sonic, and wow. And I'm going by old Sonic games. Sonic 1, 2, 3, such a real character, even from the film. The way they've got the film, just nailed it. The character of Sonic is brilliant. He's super lean, mean, and not green, he's blue. But it just brilliant character to him. The cartoons, I've seen a few of the cartoons. The boys been watching the cartoons, Sonic the Hedgehog, over the years, and even that's portrayed really well. So I've got to say, Sonic the Hedgehog would be my favourite ever video game character, between the Sonic 1 and Sonic and Knuckles kind of era. I must admit, I like Sonic Mania, but it was bloody tough. Well, I felt it was tough. But these 3D Sonics, Frontiers and the Heroes, oh, pardon me, they're not my sort of Sonic games, I must admit. But yeah, I've got to go with Sonic. So yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. What's your least favourite type of game? Question number 10. Well, sorry to disappoint, Stu. Generation Pixel, but it's got to be. I've got to have a sip of the Vimto. Oh, it's lovely. It's mango, strawberry, and pineapple. Oh, it's beautiful. No added sugar as well, so it's all good. Yeah, turn-based RPG games, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy VII. I hate them. I cannot understand why people even bother. Each to their own, and if you love it, well, there's obviously a certain amount of people that love them, because the series has continued up to, what is it, Final Fantasy 15 odd now, 16, something like that. I've got quite a few of them. I'm never going to play them. I think the only one I actually played and thought was alright was Final Fantasy 12. No, it must have been Final Fantasy 10 on the PS2. I had a fair go at that. But in terms of games I hate, bloody Final Fantasy. Turn-based RPG games. I cannot understand, for the life of me, understand it. All that, you're walking along, it's set up like the older ones that are set up like A Link to the Past, Zelda. So you'll be walking along, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, a boss battle, or not a boss battle, just a battle screen would come up, and then you go down, click, attack, and it gives a swipe, and then you sit there waiting, and you're right, and then the computer goes attack, and you just sit there, and it attacks it, and then you go down and you press potion, and you do a bit of magic trick on him, and my days, what is the point of all that? Give me a straight talking hack and slash game, getting amongst it straight away. None of this bloody building up, and they're so time consuming. They've just got to keep grinding away to build up your stats, your levels, to get your HP up, your health point. Is it health points? Don't even know. I've just got no interest in them at all. They do look pretty on the shelf. You look at the games, the artwork looks nice on the boxes, but they're pants. Turn-based RPGs are a waste of space. It could have been worse. I could have just said PlayStation is crap. What's your least favourite type of game? A PlayStation game. No, because I actually do love the PS1. But yeah, I can't even think of a close second. I mean, even the strategy games, whether it's like things like Theme Hospital or Cannon Fodder or Gears of War Tactics. I mean, the sort of strategy type games, that's got more weight to it in my mind than the turn-based RPG. So yeah, that's my answer to that one. So that closes it now. That's all 10 questions answered. The usual thing is to tag 2 people in it, but I can't be trying to whittle out. I've watched so many videos of people answering the same questions that most people have already been there, done that, and moved on to something else. But what I will say is, it's absolutely brilliant to see so many people getting involved and doing VRs. It's a great thing about the YouTube community, and everyone can be a part of it. Doing VRs, getting involved, getting in front of the camera, it gives you a good excuse to have a natter. We can drink in the nostalgia and the thoughts and get us thinking about stuff. And I love the content that's going out, where people are just sitting down and taking a moment to chill and talk about the collection or gaming or this, that and the other, or your thoughts on things like the 10 questions put forward by Tony Fighter 2, Turbo, Alpha, Hyper, Mega, Super. Love the channel, mate. Big Tone. So yeah, and thank you very much for old Red Stevie babes for nominating me to do a VR. I finally got there in the end. So yeah, and anyone watching this, please get involved. Whack up your 10 questions. So the 10 questions are: number 1, what type of video games do you play and do you like to play? Number 2, how much time on average do you spend playing video games? Number 3, do you think video games can be educational? Number 4, what don't you like about video games? Number 5, how much do you spend on video games? Number 6, what's your favourite video games console? Number 7, what's your favourite video game? Number 8, what's your favourite video game movie? Number 9, what's your favourite video game character? Number 10, what's your least favourite type of game? So yeah, please do get in amongst it. Love to hear your thoughts, for those that haven't already. Anyway, have a great weekend of gaming, collecting, buying, playing, whatever you're doing. Thanks for tuning in and stopping by, and whack a comment down below. Take it easy. Bye-bye.